Everyone told you that being good would protect you. That if you were kind enough, honest enough, and worked hard enough, people would respect you. They lied. And the worst part? You believed it. You kept being good. You kept being patient. And people kept walking past you, over you, and through you like you weren't even there. So here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if everything you were taught about how the world works was designed to keep you manageable? This comes from Machiavelli's The Prince and Modern Psychology. And what you're about to hear isn't comfortable. It isn't kind. But it is true. Machiavelli wasn't a villain. He was just the only man in the room honest enough to say what everyone else was already doing. He watched rulers rise. He watched good men fall. And he wrote down exactly why. This video is going to show you 5 principles that the powerful use every single day, on you, around you, and against you, while you're still trying to be nice about it. Pay attention. Because most people will hear this and still go back to sleep. But some of you won't. And that changes everything. Principle 1. People don't respect who you are. They respect what you make them feel. Think about the people you respect most. Now be honest, is it because of their values? Their intentions? Their heart? No. It's because of how they made you feel when you were around them. Small. Inspired. Cautious. Safe. It doesn't matter which one. What matters is that they created a feeling in you. Machiavelli said it clearly, it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. Not because fear is your goal, but because fear is a controlled emotion. Love is unstable. It shifts. It fades. Fear stays. Respect built on consistent power stays. This is why that person at work who says less, smiles less, and reacts less gets treated with more weight than the one who is always available, always agreeable, always eager. The agreeable person is comfortable. The quiet one is uncertain. And people treat uncertainty with caution. Caution is respect. Your intention means nothing if your presence means nothing. And your presence means nothing if it costs people nothing to ignore you. So the strategic rule is this: stop trying to be understood. Start being felt. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They keep explaining themselves, justifying themselves, defending themselves. Every time you explain, you shrink. Every time you defend, you signal weakness. The powerful don't explain. They decide. Think about that. Principle 2. Your predictability is your prison. Here's the trap nobody sees. The moment people can predict you, they stop respecting you. They don't need to. They've already figured you out. You always say yes. You always show up. You always forgive. You always give another chance. And without even knowing it, they've placed you in a category in their mind labeled safe to use. Machiavelli said the prince who is too predictable becomes the easiest target. Because everyone knows how he will move before he moves. Think about relationships. The person who is always available gets taken for granted. The person who sometimes says no, sometimes disappears, sometimes surprises, that person stays in people's heads. Not because they are cruel, but because they are unpredictable. And unpredictable things demand attention. Predictability is the slowest form of defeat. You become furniture. Present. Functional. Invisible. The strategic rule: introduce uncertainty into how people experience you. Not chaos. Calculated unpredictability. Let them wonder. Let them work. Let them earn your consistency. Because the moment your behavior costs nothing to predict, your presence costs nothing to dismiss. But here's the part nobody talks about: unpredictability only works when it comes from actual control. Not from emotion. Not from mood. From choice. There's a difference between someone who's unpredictable because they are unstable, and someone who's unpredictable because they are strategic. One is dangerous to themselves. The other is dangerous to everyone else. And this next part separates the weak from the powerful. Principle 3. Goodness without limits is not a virtue. It's an invitation. Type "I choose strategic strength" below if you've ever been used by someone you were good to. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Nice people don't finish last because the world is unfair. They finish last because they train people around them on how to treat them. Every time you forgave without consequence, you taught someone that there is no consequence. Every time you helped without boundaries, you taught someone that your time has no price. Every time you stayed quiet to keep the peace, you taught someone that your silence is free. Machiavelli wrote that a ruler who is too merciful creates disorder, Because when there are no consequences, there is no structure. And without structure, the cruelest people rise. This is true in kingdoms. It's true in families. It's true in your office right now. Kindness without limits becomes a weakness. Not because kindness is wrong, but because humans, by nature, push until something pushes back. It's not even malicious most of the time. It's just human behavior. We test limits. We always have. The ones who set limits get respected. The ones who don't get managed. The strategic rule: your kindness must come with a silent price. People must feel, not see, that there are lines. You don't announce them. You enforce them. Once. Quietly. Completely. And this is where good people lose everything. They think setting limits means being cold. It doesn't. It means being real. Cold people don't care. Strategic people care. They just refuse to be managed. There's a massive difference. Principle 4, emotion is the weapon they use against you. This is where it gets dangerous. Every time you reacted emotionally, you handed someone the map to control you. Think about it. The moment you got angry, someone knew exactly how to move you. The moment you got desperate, someone knew exactly what to offer you. The moment you showed that you needed their approval, the negotiation was already over. You lost before it started. Machiavelli understood that power doesn't belong to the smartest person or the strongest person. It belongs to the most emotionally controlled person. Because emotion, without control, is prediction. And prediction is weakness. We already covered that. Comment: I see the game now, if you've ever made a decision from emotion and regretted it within 48 hours. Because almost everyone has. You argued when silence would have won. You explained when walking away would have hit harder. You reacted when stillness would have terrified them. Power rewards emotional control. Nothing else. Not your talent. Not your loyalty. Not your history. In real rooms, with real stakes, the one who stays calm while everyone else breaks down becomes the gravitational center of that room. People orbit them. They don't even know why. But we know why. It's because calm is rare. And rare things are treated as valuable. Control your emotion or someone else will. That's not philosophy. That's the reality of every power dynamic you've ever been in. Here's the thing though, emotional control doesn't mean feeling nothing. It means feeling everything and choosing what to show. That's the discipline. That's the real work. And most people quit right here, because it's easier to react than to decide. Principle 5, perception is the only reality that matters. Listen closely to this part. Because this is the one that will make you rewatch this video. You can be the most capable person in the room. The most loyal. The most hardworking. The most honest. And none of it, not one single piece of it, will matter if you are not perceived that way. Machiavelli said that men judge by what they see, not by what they touch. Because only a few can feel things directly. But everyone can see. And what they see becomes what they believe. And what they believe becomes how they treat you. Think about every time you were overlooked for something you deserved. Was it because you weren't capable? Or was it because someone else was perceived as more capable, even if they weren't? You know the answer. The person who speaks with confidence gets more credit than the person who whispers the right answer. The person who enters a room like they belong there gets treated like they belong there. The person who never doubts their own value publicly, even if they doubt it privately, gets valued by others. People remember position, not intention. They remember how you carried yourself, not why. They remember what you projected, not what you felt inside. So here is the brutal strategic rule: manage what people see before you worry about what people know. Not through lies. Through awareness. Through presence. Through deliberate control of your own image. The powerful don't leave their perception to chance. They engineer it. Every time. In every room. Before every conversation. And this is where most people destroy themselves. They think people should just see how hard I work. They won't. They never have. You have to show them. Not by performing. By owning. Now you understand the game. These 5 principles: respect through feeling, not intention. Controlled unpredictability. Goodness with limits. Emotional mastery. Perception management. They aren't separate ideas. They are one system. A system the powerful have always used. A system that was never taught to you because people who understand it prefer that you don't. Machiavelli didn't invent these rules. He just wrote them down when everyone else was pretending they didn't exist. And the reason they hide it, the reason this knowledge stays in boardrooms and in the private conversations of people with real leverage, is simple. Informed people are harder to manage. People who understand power dynamics don't get used as easily. They don't explain themselves into irrelevance. They don't forgive without consequence. They don't leak their emotions like an open wound. They move differently. They speak differently. They are treated differently. And that's a problem for anyone who profits from your confusion. This is the line between survivors and victims. Not intelligence. Not talent. Not luck. Awareness. Specifically, awareness of how power actually moves between people in real life. Not the version you were sold. The real version. The quiet version. The one happening right now in every relationship, every workplace, every family dynamic around you. From this point forward, ignorance is no longer an excuse. You have seen it now. You cannot unsee it. And that is both a gift and a responsibility. Because once you see the game, you have a choice. You can keep pretending it doesn't exist, keep being kind without limits, keep explaining yourself, keep reacting emotionally, keep letting your image manage itself. Or you can apply what you now know. Not to hurt people. But to stop being the person that gets hurt. Not to dominate everyone. But to stop being dominated without even knowing it. You will want to rewatch this. Because the first time, you will only understand half of it. The second time, you'll start seeing it in your own life, in your last argument, in the last time someone disrespected you, in the last time you reacted when you should have stayed still. And when that happens, something shifts. Not motivation. Not inspiration. Something colder. Clearer. More useful. A quiet decision. Declare it publicly, not for me, but for yourself. Type "I see the game now" in the comments below. Not as a fan. As a declaration. As the moment you decided to stop being played by rules you were never supposed to know existed. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That means something in you recognizes the truth of it. And if you're sitting there thinking this is too dark, too cold, too real, ask yourself one question. Is the way you've been doing it working? Really? Or have you just been told it should work, while watching other people, less talented, less honest, less kind than you, move further, faster, with less effort? Now you see the difference between being respected and being used. The question isn't whether this knowledge is dangerous. The question is, are you ready to use it?